Good morning from Iwate Prefecture. Hey, a strong, slow-moving system brought a lot of rain to Japan this week. Rain that, in many areas, we sorely needed. Sakura Season 2 is likely to be in full bloom this week as the nation is awash in pink and white glory. What can we look forward to over the next few days? Well, let's dive in on this edition of SoraCast for March 27th, 2026. Greetings from Kitakami all the way up here in Iwate Prefecture. The sakura up here are not blooming yet, but they certainly are popping in most of the nation. And we will get to the flowers in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at the weather around the country. Although daytime highs are edging up, overnight lows and morning temperatures are still brisk across the nation. The system that gave us rain over the past couple of days is moving on, and some of it is still residual here in Iwate. Over the weekend, however, some scattered rain will be possible along the Pacific coast and from Kanto on up to Aomori and even into Hokkaido. But here is the real gotcha. We have a very strong potential of a rare low system double tap coming to the nation next week. Both the European ECMWF and the US GFS, as well as the JMA models, broadly agree on this. Now, we are still 4 days out from this event, so things can change, but looking at it now, the first low looks to be really strong and well formed, with the potential to bring heavy rain to some areas. It starts to set in and approach Kyushu from the mainland Chinese east coast during the mid-afternoon time on Monday. By 8 p.m. Monday, Kyushu will be under rainy skies, as will far western Honshu and much of Shikoku. Moving on to midnight Tuesday, the system is going to be covering pretty much everywhere from Osaka on down south and west. Then, by the time the country starts its Tuesday morning commute, well, most of Japan will be under some sort of cloudy or rainy skies from this system. A pretty sloppy Tuesday is in store as, by mid-afternoon, rain, sleet, and other precipitation will be covering the country everywhere from Hokkaido on down to Osaka. Kyushu will finally get an end to the rain as the low continues to move northeast along the country. And by 9 p.m. or so on Tuesday, rain will start to let up in Kansai and Kanto, and the low finally clears out of Japan by around 5-6 a.m. on Wednesday. Now that generally would be enough, and that'd be a good weather story for the week. But just in time for that, though, another system will be set to make its run along a similar course, heading right for Kyushu right about that time. Now, this second system will be weaker than its predecessor, and there's disagreement on the tracking of the system as things stand now. But the second system looks like it will move a bit offshore from the nation along the South Pacific coast, weaker than its other sibling. The rain that comes from this second low won't be as strong or as concentrated as the former system, but the areas in its path will still get a decent amount of rainfall regardless. So if you look around here, there is absolutely no snow. And the big question now is, will any northern areas get snow from either of these systems? Well, it's going to be hard to say, but let's check the 1500 meter temperature map. The freezing line, the line where temperatures are at 0 degrees at 1500 meters altitude, is already retreating by the time the weekend comes. Yeah, and if I look at next week's forecasted data, I'm probably going to lean into the camp that says snow will not fall out of these systems, at least not in lower lying areas. The first low, which is the more powerful of the two, will be pulling up a lot of southerly air on its approach to Japan. Now, with the rotation of this low as it passes Japan, it will start to pull down some cooler air, but the second low, with its counterclockwise rotation as well, will just push that colder air right back up. So we probably will not get any snow out of these systems, unfortunately. Sorry to say, but it's going to be a little too warm for snow to fall. Now, let's take a look at the 5-day forecast in selected cities around the country. Now, really quick, I thought this would also be a good time to check out what the rest of spring has in store for us. And here are a couple of charts from the JMA giving their best guess on where the weather is going to be for the next 30 days. First off, temperatures. And look at this. The whole country is in a shade of crimson and purple. And that means that there is a 70% chance or greater of warmer than normal temperatures for the next month. Now, remember, this chart works with probabilities, not degrees. So, in other words, that deep shading here doesn't mean it's going to be extremely hot. Actually, we do not know how much warmer it's going to be. We just know that there's a 70% chance that it will be warmer than normal, even if only by a degree or two. Precipitation, well, same story. And this time, actually a little bit of good news because we have a 40% chance of getting normal rainfall for the period along with a 40% chance of greater than normal rainfall. In other words, much of the nation has an 80% or greater chance of normal to greater rainfall for the next 30 days. And as we have said here before in SoraCast, after the amazingly arid winter that we have had over this past winter, the Pacific coast really, really needs this. Hokkaido will look like it's going to be the only location that's not going to get the precipitation that is expected for this time of year. And now let's get to the main event, right? The Sakura, the cherry blossoms. And here's where we stand with the flowers right now. Sakura are blooming just about everywhere from Kanto on down along the Pacific coast, and full blooms are happening along the same area all the way down to Kyushu. The only problem, of course, is that the hanami, the flower viewing season, also tends to coincide with rain, and we certainly have that happening this coming week. Plan your parties carefully, and I would say try to get them in this weekend while we still have the scattered rain before the heavy rain starts to hit the islands on Monday. And that is your SoraCast for today. Hey, as always, if you like weather and science-related content coming out of Japan, you guys know what to do, right? Go ahead and just strike that like and subscribe button. It really helps us do what we do, and it helps us give you the best content possible. You guys have a great weekend. Have a good one, and we'll be talking to you soon.